I have been staring at the calendar, and honestly, the wait for training camp feels like an eternity for us Minnesota Vikings fans. Something is developing within the organization that could shake up everything we thought we knew about our roster heading into the season. It is not just about the quarterback room anymore, as some whispers have surfaced that might force management to make a difficult decision sooner than expected. The more I dig into this update, the harder it is to ignore the massive stakes involved. If you love this team, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your name and city below. Let's dive in. The Minnesota Vikings are staring down a pivotal summer as Mccarthy finds himself at the center of a swirling trade rumor mill that has us all on edge. Drafted to be the future of this franchise, McCarthy navigated a difficult rookie season defined by a knee injury that forced him to spend months watching from the sidelines while remaining a visible presence in the Twin Cities. Now, with training camp fast approaching, national reports suggest that his time in Minnesota could be nearing an end if the front office decides he is not the long-term solution. While we initially expected a steady development path, the rumor that McCarthy might be traded before Week 1 or by the deadline has created a sense of genuine panic among the faithful. The timing is particularly jarring given that the quarterback competition against Kyler Murray is tightening up, with McCarthy closing the gap despite Murray holding the veteran status. We are witnessing the first real quarterback battle in over a decade, and the realization that our former starter could be dealt for a mere fifth-round pick is a bitter pill to swallow. This news hit our fan base like a freight train because we invested so much hope in his potential, and the prospect of losing that upside just as he begins to gain momentum in camp feels like a massive misstep. And honestly, the uncertainty surrounding his future is compounded by the glaring need for an extra edge rusher to bolster our defense. With $13 million in cap space remaining, we are all bracing for a major signing to replace the depth lost earlier this offseason. Whether it is McCarthy's uncertain future or the urgent search for defensive reinforcements, the pressure on GM Nolan Teasley to get this right is higher than ever. Skol. The truth is that Minnesota finds itself at this crossroads because of a calculated gamble that shifted when McCarthy suffered a major knee injury last season, effectively stalling his development and forcing the team to pivot toward veteran stability. With over $13 million in cap space available, new general manager Nolan Teasley faces the pressure of balancing a competitive window with long-term fiscal responsibility. This situation mirrors our historical struggles back in 2014 when the team leaned on veteran experience to bridge the gap. Yet the front office knows that keeping McCarthy as a backup while his trade value potentially plummets is a luxury we may not be able to afford. If the coaching staff privately doubts his ceiling compared to Kyler Murray, every practice rep in Eagan becomes a high-stakes audition that could dictate the entire future of our quarterback room. Internally, Kevin O'Connell is likely weighing the necessity of a developmental project against the immediate requirement for a playoff-caliber roster. Meanwhile, the departure of Jonathan Greenard necessitates a veteran stopgap at outside linebacker to protect our investment in Dallas Turner. While fans crave a splashy signing like Leonard Floyd or Jadeveon Clowney, the reality is that we are simply filling the void left by roster turnover to ensure the defense remains elite. The front office realizes that relying on youth across the interior defensive line is dangerous without a seasoned edge presence to anchor the pass rush. If we want to compete in a loaded NFC North, we cannot afford to gamble on depth when the market offers proven solutions. We have the resources and the need, and now the organization must decide if they are building for tomorrow or pushing all their chips into the middle for a championship run this season. Skol. As we gear up for training camp, the status of our quarterback room and the desperate need for edge depth are the primary factors deciding our ceiling this year. The stakes are massive because general manager Nolan Teasley is molding this roster for an immediate run, and any misstep with McCarthy's development or pass rushing depth could derail those championship aspirations before the season truly hits its stride. If we move on from McCarthy, we lose our most valuable trade chip and future insurance, but keeping him creates an ongoing distraction that could hinder Kyler Murray from fully commanding the offense. With $13 million in space, adding a veteran like Leonard Floyd or Jadeveon Clowney is no longer a luxury, but a necessity to protect our young interior defensive line. These moves directly influence our outlook for critical early season clashes against division rivals like the Bears, where controlling the line of scrimmage is mandatory to keep pace with Ben Johnson's high-octane offense. The truth is that without a reliable third pass rusher, we risk burnout for Dallas Turner and Andrew Van Ginkel, which would leave us vulnerable against playoff contenders later in the schedule. Improving this rotation changes our identity from a team hoping to survive the trenches to one that can dictate the tempo of every snap. By securing a veteran edge defender, we shore up the final hole on a roster that otherwise looks built for a deep postseason push in a competitive NFC North. Whether it is a backup signal caller trade or a savvy free agent signing, the decisions made in Eagan over these next few weeks will dictate whether we are true contenders or just another team fighting for a wildcard spot. It is time to make the right moves and Skol all the way to the playoffs. The bottom line here is that signing a proven veteran edge rusher like Jadeveon Clowney or Leonard Floyd is exactly what this team needs to solidify a playoff-caliber defense. By bringing in a seasoned veteran, we add immediate insurance behind Dallas Turner and Andrew Van Ginkel, ensuring the pass rush remains elite even if injuries strike. This move maximizes our remaining $13 million in cap space to secure a championship-level rotation. However, we must acknowledge the downside, because relying on aging veterans can often stall the development of younger players like Turner who desperately need those high-leverage snap counts to evolve. Some NFL analysts argue that bringing in a marquee name might crowd the room and limit the ceiling of our homegrown talent, potentially forcing us to sacrifice long-term growth for short-term fixes. Other teams around the league are watching closely, noting that while our interior is bolstered by youth, any slip in production off the edge could leave us exposed against top-tier passing attacks. What I really think is that we are one injury away from a total defensive collapse, and hoarding cap space for the sake of potential flexibility is a mistake when we are this close to competing. If we want to keep pace with the rest of the division, we cannot afford to gamble on depth at such a critical position. Bringing in a veteran isn't just about insurance, it is about creating a suffocating environment for opposing quarterbacks every single Sunday. We have the resources and the clear path to shore up this roster, and failing to execute this addition would be a massive missed opportunity for a front office looking to make a statement. Skol, let us hope Nolan Teasley makes the right call and pulls the trigger on a move that finally pushes this defense over the top. The big picture for our franchise is clear as we transition under general manager Nolan Teasley, signaling a move toward long-term sustainability rather than quick fixes. We are at a pivotal crossroads where every roster decision, from the intense Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy quarterback duel to the necessary hunt for an outside linebacker, shapes our playoff ceiling for the next 3 years. As Minnesota Vikings fans, you should feel a sense of cautious optimism, because our front office is finally balancing aggressive youth development with the veteran stability required to compete in a brutal NFC North. Think about it this way. Having $13 million in cap space means we are not just settling for what we have, but actively patching holes to ensure our defense remains elite. If we secure a proven edge rusher like Leonard Floyd or Jadeveon Clowney, we immediately solidify a championship-caliber core that can withstand the inevitable grind of a 16-game schedule. This team is no longer just hoping for success. We are methodically building the depth necessary to survive the league's toughest matchups. The truth is that while the uncertainty surrounding McCarthy causes anxiety, it proves that our organization is finally prioritizing the most important position on the field with a high-stakes meritocracy. We are witnessing the birth of a team that refuses to compromise on talent or competition. So, let me ask you, if the Vikings decide to move on from McCarthy for a draft pick, are you confident that Kyler Murray has the grit to lead this team to a Super Bowl, or is that a massive gamble? Share your thoughts below and let us know your take on the quarterback situation. If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Skol, I'll see you in the next one.